Hey everyone, and welcome to this review on the EnviroKlenz Air Purifier. So I've been running this sweet little cube of a unit in my studio for a few months now, and I have to say, overall, I am very, very pleased with it. So a lot of people have asked me about air cleaners and the air in their studio, and I know we often use them in our home, but you really need to run one in your studio. And there's been a few questions that people have asked me. I'm going to address those here and now because I'm no expert in air cleaners, by no means. I am a potter. That's what I do. I make pots. I teach people how to make pots, but I want to keep making pots for a very, very long time. And to do so, I need to keep myself healthy. And one of the ways to do that is by running an air cleaner. So we know in our studios that we have silica. It's in the air, right? There's nothing you can do about it. No matter what you do, there's going to be silica in the air. It's because you work with clay. Clay is made up of silica. Those silica particles do come off your hands, they come off the clay, the boards you work on, your wheel, whatever. They get on the floor, they're floating around in the studio. Now they are smaller than the human eye, so you don't actually see them, but they're there. And these particles, they stay suspended for up to 8 hours. And as you're constantly moving through your studio, there's air currents. You're creating an air current. I'm currently running my pellet stove, so there's air currents being created by that. Fans, whatever you have going on. So that keeps that silica up in the air. So even if you're not running a fan from, say, an air cleaner, you have silica moving around your studio that you can't see. So one question that I was asked was, well, I've been told not to run an air cleaner because an air cleaner is going to cause the silica to blow around more. You might think that, right? You might think that the silica that is settled and it's not moving at all and it's staying where it is. And if you turn on an air cleaner, it's going to disturb that. But that's not the case. Every time you walk through your studio, you're disturbing that silica. Anytime you open a door, if there's a breeze coming through your window, if you're running a heater, like I mentioned. So what's going to happen is the air cleaner is running, it's pulling in the air that has the silica in it. It's going to catch that air. It's going to filter the silica out, and then it will blow air back out the bottom of the unit, but that's clean air. And does it push other air around? Yeah, and that other air gets caught back in the unit and then comes out clean. So if you're running this for the first time in your studio and you're concerned that it's going to cause an issue with stirring up silica that you have already there, then maybe turn it on high and let it run for a day when you're not in there. Honestly, I have to tell you, I wasn't quite so sold on the air cleaner until I went about 2 weeks ago to see my pulmonologist. So I have been making pottery for about 20 years and I've never had my lungs checked. You know, it's not something you have to do, but because I'm exposed to silica, I wanted to just get it checked. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. So I went in and had the full lung workup, had everything done. Good news, no silicosis, nothing at all. My lungs are perfectly clear and fine. And I was talking to my pulmonologist about the air cleaner, and he said, well, first he asked if I run any air purifying systems in the studio, and I said, well, I did just get one because, you know, this was a few weeks ago and I'd only had this about 6 weeks at the time, I think. And he was asking me, well, good, how long have you been running it? And I told him only a few weeks, and he's like, well, it's highly recommended that you run something that has hospital grade silica catching technology. Yeah, the EnviroKlenz has that. It's hospital grade. I told him the one I was running. He was familiar with EnviroKlenz and he said, good. He's like, keep running it. And I'm like, all right. So for the first 20 years of making pottery, no air cleaner at all. My lungs are good. I have taken precautions. I always wet clean everything. I never sweep. I don't vacuum. I keep the studio fairly clean. So those are all good things for studio safety, but this is just an added thing to keep yourself healthy. So my pulmonologist is really happy with me. I'm happy with me because I have lungs that are healthy and I want to keep them healthy so I can keep making pottery. So let's go over a few things actually about this unit. Now you could get any unit you want, but you want to make sure it's rated for silica. This will do 0.3 particles, 0.3 micron particles, I should say micron, because they're teeny. That's smaller than the human eye can see. And this one right here, not only will pick up the silica, it'll get VOCs, which are the chemicals and the things burning off from your kiln. So if you are firing your kiln without a vent, you need to be running one of these. You should be running a vent with your kiln, but if you're not, okay, have one of these. And also have one of these anyways, because you're going to get all the dust, all the allergens and pollens, and it also will clean the air for mold and mildew. It'll get rid of the VOCs. So you might find that if you run one of these in your studio, that the air in your studio is actually cleaner than the air in your home, unless you run one of these in your home. So this unit right here is great. It's portable. It's called their mobile unit because look, it's on wheels, so we can take it all over the studio, which for me is very handy. I have it plugged in one area in my studio, and it sits usually close to my kiln, but when I'm firing my kiln, I just roll it over to somewhere else so it's not next to the kiln, because you know, you don't really want to keep it right next to the kiln. That's not a good idea. So I'm going to turn this around and just talk to you a little bit about the unit. So I did do an unboxing when I got the unit, and I talked a little bit about it. And right inside are where all of like the magic components are, right? Just lift this up. You have your HEPA filter, and then you have your air cartridge. So you'll want to be changing out your air cartridge. Usually, I would say, well, they recommend you do it every 6 months. And then your HEPA filter, you're going to change out every 18 months to 2 years. So it's just going to depend on your unit and what you're doing in your studio. I work a lot in my studio. There's a lot of dust and stuff in the air, so I'm going to follow the recommendations with the 6 months and every 18 months. And that's it. That's the maintenance on the unit. That's all you have to do. These just slide right out. You probably saw me put them in. It's really, really easy. And then this just slides, the cover just slides back on. Possibly you line it up correctly when you put it in, and slide it down and you don't have any issues. But this has been amazing. Now it has a whisper quiet setting, so when I'm filming classes, you won't even hear it at all. It could be on right now. My pellet stove is louder, so if you're worried about it being noisy, then don't have that worry, because it's not. And it does have a low, medium, and high. Yeah, the high is loud because it's high. It's moving a lot of air, so just keep that in mind. Speaking of which, my pellet stove just kicked into high, so now we get that to join us. And there's nothing I can do about the sound of the pellet stove. It just is what it is. So if you want one of these units, you know, go check out EnviroKlenz. It's, I think, EnviroKlenz Air Purifiers.com. Just search up EnviroKlenz. Now if you go to my website, ClayShare.com, under resources, you will find partner offers, and EnviroKlenz is one of them. And you can click through the link, and we actually have a discount code, so you can save 10% off the unit. And I just got an email from them telling me that if you buy one of their units, you can also sign up for their subscription program, where you get your refills of your cartridges and your HEPA filter at 20% off. So this is easy. You sign up for the subscription, 20% off, and you set how often it comes. So it's like, oh, I don't need it to come every 5 months, I need it every 6 months, and you get your cartridges. So that's a bit about the unit. I really love it. I love the ease of it. I love that it's really cute. Now, don't put things on it. I found out the hard way. The back, I have a little indent in it now, because I decided that I might try to put a kiln shelf on it. That was bad. Don't do that. It's right next to the kiln. What was I supposed to do, right? I needed to sit the shelf down, and that happened. So that's my follow-up review. I will say that I have noticed, one, my studio air is cleaner and clearer. I actually believe it's brighter in my studio. It smells better. You know, clay studios kind of get a little manky, moldy, musty smell going on. We're working in earth and dirt, and it tends to have that kind of earthy smell. I don't have that when I walk in the studio anymore. It used to be I'd walk in. For all the years I've been making pottery, you know you're in a clay studio because you smell it. You walk in, you're like, that's right. That's what clay smells like. This is my place. I walk in and now I'm like, what is this? It smells so clean and fresh in here. Air cleaner's doing it for me. I love it. And the new pellet stove came in. It's anything the pellet stove is putting off, air cleaner's catching. I repainted the studio, air cleaner catching all of the off-gassing from that paint. Kiln runs. I do some lustering. I'm wearing my respirator while I'm putting luster on. This is catching all the VOCs from the luster. So I have to say I'm highly pleased. If you have other questions or concerns, you can always contact me comment, message, whatever, reach out to me and I'll do my best. Of course, if you really have a lot of questions that are technical, you should contact EnviroKlenz because they made it and they know the most about it. They know more than I know. I just know I've been using it and I like it. My pulmonologist likes it, my lungs like it, and the air is cleaner. So, you know, yeah, it's an investment, but isn't it worth it so that you can keep making pottery for as long as you want? I know my next 20 years of pottery making are going to be even better. Now, I'm still going to be just as clean. This does not give you an excuse to be messy. It doesn't give you an excuse to start leaving like clay dust everywhere, not wet cleaning everything and wiping everything. No, you still have to clean everything. But now you know it's even safer. Alright, so that's all. I just wanted to share this little review on the EnviroKlenz Mobile Air Purifier. I have really loved using it. I was a skeptic. Why do you think I didn't have one for 20 years? Yeah, there's a reason. I didn't buy one because I was like, yeah, there's no need. Yeah, you should have one. So if you're starting out and you're thinking about equipment to put in your studio, if you can afford one of these, if you can afford it, do it. It'll be investing in your future. That's what you can think of it as. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here. As always, it has been a pleasure, and I will catch you next time in the studio.